So this is part 3, building on my second video talking about the experiences at my home church in Connecticut while trying to change lights, relamp the building, having things thrown at me and other events. Um, I'm going to talk about the day before. So this would be December 23rd, the day before Christmas Eve. I had been working in the church off and on for a while already. And it got to the point where I had to do the Sunday school building, the basement, where we have a daycare that rents that space. So I reached out to the daycare and I said, well, my name is Steve. I've been relamping the building. I don't know if you know, but it's like, oh, yes, 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 we've heard. Yes, we want you to come down and do our rooms. So we set it up for December 23rd, made the logistical arrangements and talked for about 10 minutes about what I was doing. And then the last comment she made was, I just need to warn you about the activity. And I said, what activity? Like I said, grew up in this church. I actually taught Sunday school in those rooms in the 1980s. Never heard a peep. Nothing flew around the room. As far as we knew, no one ever died in that room or even in that building. So I knew I had my work cut out for me. Let me just discuss my background a little bit, how I got to this point. Growing up, I knew my mother loved psychics. She always went to psychic fairs. She went for readings. She got her tea leaves read, the whole 9 yards. She actually did the Ouija board herself a number of times, which if anyone had been to see the Warrens talk in New England, they toured every fall, did the college tour, and I specifically remember Lorraine Warren saying, don't touch the Ouija board because you don't know what is coming through and you won't know how to get rid of it. So meanwhile, my mother's playing with the Ouija board. She convinced me once to try it. So I put my fingers on the pointer, the planchette, and the second I did that, I got what I call the cold, numb tinglies, which to me tells me something is around me, spirit is around me. So cold feeling starts in the head and went down through my neck, down the shoulders, down both arms to my fingers, and as soon as they hit my fingers, that planchette starts to move. And I pulled my fingers off and said, nope, that's it, I'm not doing this. So that's the one and only time I tried the Ouija board, and eventually she did stop, thank goodness. Thank goodness nothing came through that we knew of. But anyway, so that was growing up. I did have night terrors or sleep paralysis. I get like screaming in my ear. I know that's also physiological, so I don't know if what I had was physiological or psychic. But that lasted well up through the end of high school, a little bit into college. Anyway, my mother moved to Florida in 1989. Her second day there, she goes to the mailbox and she meets a neighbor. Oh, hi, I'm Mary. Oh, I'm Dorothy Moore. I'm a psychic and a medium. Really? Mom says. Oh, yes, actually. And actually, I see a woman standing behind you. And she describes my grandmother in perfect detail to my mother. And of course, my mother was never fazed by anything. And she says, oh, yeah, that's my mother. She's with me all the time. Whereas, I would have peed my pants. Anyway, so I got to know Dorothy. And my mother started taking classes with her, so she started to develop her abilities. And she also, I believe, was a purger, spirit guide in training, like I've been told, here to cross souls over. So after my mother passed in 2014, I think I inherited all her spirits because they started coming to me. I would see things, hear things, smell things, feel things, a lot more than before. So I started to seek some help. So I went for Reiki. I was promptly told that my energy was too strong to protect me. They could clear the negativity, cut negative cords, but they couldn't seal me back up again safely because my energy was too strong for them. So they sent me to a shaman who proceeded to do that over 2 hours. That's going to be a separate video of that craziness. Bunch of mediums. I have visited mediums in this area around Chicago, and they told me the same thing: spirit guide in training, purger, crossing souls over, the whole 9 yards. So finally decided to take some classes to deal with these abilities and manage them, and went to a well-known medium here in Chicagoland and took some classes from her, and quickly found out first exercise we did was fill out these checklists and see what abilities you have. So it turns out I am highly empathic, meaning I absorb all these feelings. I can feel depression. I can feel when someone is sad or sick or dying. Several times that's happened where I've felt that and confirmed later on that someone did pass that was close to someone I knew. And also clairaudient, meaning I hear things. Clairsentient, which means I sense things or just know things. And also clairvoyant, so I can see things as well. So I hit the gold mine on the ability scales. So the empathic side is very strong, and I'm trying to do as much as I can to manage that. I did have a spell last October where I was convinced for a week that I was going to drop dead of a heart attack, to the point where I scheduled a physical with the doctor, had my heart checked out, and I started looking at cemetery plots. It was that strong a feeling. Fortunately, by the weekend, I was able to dispel that, prayed on it, called on all my help above. It's like, okay, push this away, and then by that Sunday, gone. No more thoughts. So I still don't know what that was to this day, but this is the kind of stuff that happens to an empath. Anyway, back to my home church. So they said, you know, there's a spirit here, and there's activity. So I said, okay, I'm apparently going to try to test out my newly acquired skills to try to cross the spirit over. So I wanted some backup, contacted a friend of mine who I knew from Middletown, and turns out she had abilities, including mediumship, and she was working to develop those. So I asked her if she'd be interested in helping me out. She said yes. So on the day before Christmas Eve, the 23rd, we did some lighting in the church that morning, then went down to the daycare space at noontime. She came up, we had lunch, and set up down in the room. I brought candles, I brought my Tingshaw chimes, I brought my sage, Bible, the book of prayers I was given by another medium for crossing souls over, because they also recognized that's why I'm here. Had all my ammunition with me. I was throwing everything at this. So we set up. Another friend of mine was with us who was helping me relight the rooms. And so we set up, lit the candle, and then we tried to meditate and concentrate. Okay, who is the soul? Who's the spirit who's stuck in this space? Who are you? Why are you here? What do you want? Do you need help? And so almost immediately, this spirit starts talking to my friend. Back up again real quick. When I first was told about the activity, I tried to figure out who it might be. So did my meditations, a lot of thought, and I got an impression of a young man, about 25-ish, looked kind of scruffy, unkept, maybe homeless, felt died of a drug overdose, and was not stuck in the space per se, but had a circuit. They were following a circuit. Places with fond memories they were revisiting, because a lot of mediums will tell you souls that have crossed over or souls that have not crossed over and are stuck will sometimes go back to the place they had the fondest memories, the best memories for them. So they'll go back there. So my impression was this is one of their spots. I also found out that directly above, the room above, they would hold Narcotics Anonymous meetings and Alcoholics Anonymous meetings at the church once a week. So I felt this person probably attended those meetings and died of a drug overdose and came back because it was a wonderful memory for them, one of their favorite times on Earth and hadn't realized they'd crossed over. So anyway, back to the room. My friend starts picking up impressions, and I said, well, who are you sensing? What do they look like? And she said, a young male, 25 to 30, with a beard, kind of unkempt looking, I feel died of a drug overdose. Bam, okay, good. We got confirmation. We both were on the same page. So we think we have the spirit. So apparently he starts talking to her, says nothing to me. This happens quite a bit for me. I don't always get a response or a direct response. Starts talking to her. They're lost. They're confused. They don't know what's going on. They don't know where they are. And so we start talking to them. It's like, look, you passed on. You need to go to the light. You know, you're basically you're stuck in this space until you cross over. And so we spent 45 minutes talking to the spirit, trying to gently break it to them that yes, they are dead. You just don't throw that at a spirit because you may get a very violent reaction. So spent about 45 minutes trying to talk and counsel the spirit to realize what had happened and to go to the light. You came from the light. You need to return to the light. There's no judgment. It's just perfect, pure love, peace, harmony, acceptance, bliss, all of that. So you need to go to the light. So after about 45 minutes, we don't know. I never felt something cross over. They say sometimes you can feel the energy go up to the light. I tried invoking the light to come down to me, which has happened a few times. That'll be another video. My encounters with the divine. And I didn't feel that connection, so I wasn't sure if we had crossed him over. She kept getting a P name, like a P name, and then I heard Ben in my ear. I said, I think the name is Ben. So then we started to talk to Ben while we were trying to counsel. So anyway, after 45 minutes of this, we said, okay, I think we've said everything we could say. When you're ready to go, if you don't go now, go when you're ready to go, but you need to go. So I got out the prayers and I said several of the prayers for crossing spirits over. Then I got out the tingsha and I got out the sage and I saged the bathrooms where the sinks turned on and off, the hallways. Tingsha'd that with the prayers, said the prayers, saged the daycare space itself. And we said, you know, okay, we're closing this circle, you know, go and find peace. But please do not disturb anyone in this space in the meantime. You're not allowed to bother the teachers or the children in this space. Go somewhere else to do that. So with that done, checked in a few weeks later, no issues, knock on wood. A few months later, and now it's been 2 years, and no more activity in that space. So God willing, the soul either found the way up, Ben found his way up, or someone came down to get him, or whatever circumstance. In any case, they're not haunting that daycare space any longer. So that's my first experience with purging. Again, I'm learning this. I don't know if I did it properly, but I'm hoping to get some more classes, some more mentorship to confirm what I'm doing is actually correct and working, because my mission is to get these souls across. So that's the day before at the church, which set up all the activity for the next day, which I don't know. I had actually asked the next day on the ladder, in the kitchen, in the Sunday school room, is this Ben? Is this someone else? And didn't get a response. So frustrating, but yeah. Now you know the full story of what happened one Christmas in Connecticut.